If you're a guy over 40 and you're shrugging off low energy, shrinking drive, or waking up embarrassed about performance, stop scrolling. Most men won't like what I'm about to say, but it's the truth. You've probably been missing a simple, fixable piece of the puzzle your doctor never mentioned. This isn't fluff or another quick fix hack. This can change your energy, your confidence, and your relationships if you actually act on it. Stick with me. What I'm about to share is the kind of life-changing advice people only learn the hard way. I'm Dr. Camilla Hayes with the Diabetes Health Clinic, and I specialize in helping men over 40 get their hormones, energy, sexual performance, and long-term vitality back on track, naturally and safely. I've spent years sitting across from guys who felt exhausted, defeated, or confused about what was happening to their bodies, and I want you to know, you're not crazy and you're definitely not alone. I've helped thousands of men rebuild their strength, their drive, and honestly, their pride. And I do it with straight talk, real science, and zero judgment. So if you're a man who's ready to understand what's really going on under the hood and take control of it, you're in the right place. Here's what we're diving into today. I'm going to break down the real reasons men over 40 start feeling tired, weaker, less driven, and not quite themselves. And trust me, it's not just aging. I'll walk you through the 5 biggest mistakes I see guys make with their hormones, their metabolism, and yes, their performance. You're going to understand exactly what's going on inside your body, why it sneaks up on so many men, and what you can start doing today to turn things around. And stay with me until the very end, because the last point is something even most doctors overlook, but it's often the reason men keep struggling no matter what they try. You do not want to miss that. Let's lay the groundwork here because before we get into solutions, you need to understand why all of this is happening. Most men over 40 start noticing changes, but they brush them off. I'm just busy. I'm just getting older. It's just stress. But the truth is, there's real physiology happening behind the scenes, and once you understand it, everything suddenly makes sense. Here's the deal, fellas. Your body at 40, 50, 60 does not operate the way it did at 25. And that's not your fault. It's biology. Let's start with the big one, hormones. Your testosterone, the hormone that fuels your drive, muscle, mood, metabolism, even your motivation to get off the couch, starts dropping around age 30. Slowly at first, then a little faster year after year. Think of testosterone like the gasoline for your system. In your 20s, the tank was overflowing. After 40, the tank isn't empty, but you're definitely not running premium anymore. And when your body is running low on that fuel, everything else starts working harder to compensate. Now mix that with insulin changes. Since we're on the Diabetes Health Clinic channel, you know this already plays a role. As men get older, the body becomes more resistant to insulin, which means your cells don't use sugar as effectively. When that happens, your energy drops, your belly grows, and inflammation rises. And here's what most men don't realize. That belly fat, it actually converts your testosterone into estrogen. Yeah. Your own body starts stealing your hormones and flipping them into the opposite direction. That's why some guys feel soft, tired, and irritable. Not because they're weak, but because their chemistry is shifting. Then we've got the stress hormone, cortisol. Cortisol is like that overprotective security guard who thinks everything is an emergency. When you were younger, cortisol would spike during a stressful moment, then calm down quickly. But past 40, it tends to stay elevated, especially if you're working long hours, dealing with family responsibilities, or not sleeping well. And when cortisol is high for too long, it tanks testosterone, increases fat storage, and makes your mind feel foggy. It's like having a constant alarm bell ringing in the background that never shuts off. Let's talk metabolism. Your metabolism naturally slows down with age, but not because you're getting old. It slows down because muscle mass gradually declines, and muscle is your metabolic engine. When you lose muscle, even a little, your body burns fewer calories at rest. That's why guys who swear they're eating the same as always suddenly gain weight around the middle. It's not the food, it's the shift in muscle and hormones. And then there's circulation. Blood flow changes with age, especially if you've got even mild insulin resistance, higher blood pressure, or inflammation. A lot of men blame performance issues on testosterone alone, but most of the time, it's also a circulation problem. The plumbing isn't as responsive as it used to be. and your body is trying to send signals through pipes that aren't flexing the way they once did. Now, here's where things get sneaky. These changes happen slowly, so slowly you barely notice. One day you wake up and realize you haven't felt truly energized in months, or your workouts aren't doing what they used to, or your drive isn't where it once was. Most men chalk it up to stress or age, or they just assume it's part of being a man over 40. But the truth? These symptoms are signals, early warnings. Your body isn't failing, it's asking for help. And here's the part men never expect. Almost all of these issues are fixable. Not overnight, not with a magic pill, but with the right understanding and daily steps, your energy, hormones, performance, and vitality can improve dramatically. That's why this conversation matters. Because once you understand what's really going on under the hood, and you stop blaming yourself or ignoring the signs, you can take control again. And trust me, nothing feels better than a man taking control of his health, his strength, and his confidence. So now that we've set the foundation, let's get into the 5 biggest issues I see in men over 40 and what you can do to turn them around. All right, let's break this down into the real, practical issues men over 40 face. The ones most guys never connect to their energy, hormones, mood, or performance. I'm going to walk through each of these step by step, just like I do in my clinic, so you can finally understand what's happening and what to do about it. First, men don't recognize early hormone decline. Look, fellas, here's the truth. Most guys think low testosterone means you can't perform or you've completely lost your drive. But hormone decline starts long before the obvious symptoms hit. Inside the body, your testosterone is gradually dropping, usually 1 to 2% per year. But what really causes problems is the imbalance between testosterone and other hormones. When testosterone dips and belly fat rises, your body starts converting testosterone into estrogen through an enzyme called aromatase. So what do you feel? Not, I have low T, but you feel more tired than usual. You get irritated easily. Your motivation disappears. You lose that spark, physically and mentally. Your workouts feel pointless. Most men assume it's stress or aging. The real answer, hormonal imbalance. What do you do? Take inventory. If you're waking up tired, losing strength, feeling flat emotionally, or not performing like you used to, that's not getting older. That's your hormones asking for help. What most men do is drink more caffeine, push harder at work, or ignore it. What actually works is identifying the root: sleep, stress, insulin resistance, nutrition, and supporting your testosterone naturally. When I tell men that their biggest early symptom of hormone decline is actually fatigue, not performance issues, it blows their minds. Second, you're losing muscle faster than you think. This one hits home for almost every guy. After 40, your body naturally loses muscle unless you actively train to keep it. And muscle isn't just for looking good, it's the engine of your metabolism. Here's what's happening inside the body. When muscle mass drops, your body burns fewer calories at rest. Less muscle equals slower metabolism equals more belly fat. And more belly fat means more inflammation and more testosterone turning into estrogen. It's a vicious cycle. Here's how it shows up in real life. You gain weight even though your eating hasn't changed. Your strength drops, slowly at first. Your joints feel stiffer. You feel heavy even when you're not moving. You don't recover from workouts like you used to. Most men think they just need to diet harder or do more cardio. But the truth, cardio isn't your primary solution after 40. Resistance training is. Building muscle boosts testosterone, stabilizes blood sugar, supports your joints, and revs up your metabolism long term. What should you do? 2 or 3 days per week of progressive strength training. Doesn't have to be hardcore, but you do need resistance. Weights, bands, body weight, whatever you'll stick to. Most men think they're too old or too busy. What actually works is small, consistent strength work. It changes the entire hormonal landscape. Third, your insulin resistance is killing your energy. This one is huge, and almost every man over 40 has some degree of it, even if they don't realize it. Insulin resistance means your cells don't use glucose effectively, so sugar floats around in your bloodstream instead of giving you energy. Inside the body, this causes inflammation, fatigue, fat storage, cravings, and hormonal disruption, and it hits men hard. Here's how it shows up. You feel tired after meals. You're hungry again an hour later. You get belly fat that won't budge. Your energy crashes in the afternoon. You feel foggy and unmotivated. Most men think they're just tired or just getting older, but the real issue is that their cells are practically begging for help. What do? Cut back on constant snacking and sugar spikes. Increase protein, fiber, and healthy fats. And get movement after meals. Even a 10-minute walk helps your muscles pull glucose out of your blood. What most men do is drink more caffeine or start skipping meals randomly. What actually works is supporting insulin sensitivity through balanced meals, movement, sleep, and stress management. Fourth, chronic stress is silently wrecking your hormones. Guys think stress is normal, part of work, family, life, but your body doesn't interpret stress like your mind does. Inside your system, stress means danger. It spikes cortisol, which shuts down testosterone production, disrupts sleep, and makes your body store fat, especially around your stomach. Here's the kicker. Your body can't tell the difference between "I'm swamped with deadlines" and "I'm being chased by a bear." In real life, chronic stress looks like this. You wake up tired, even after sleeping. Your patience is on a short fuse. You crave sugar or carbs at night. Your mind feels heavy or foggy. Your performance isn't consistent. Most men think they just need a weekend off or a beer to relax. But the problem is deeper. Your nervous system isn't shutting off. Your cortisol stays high, and that tanks your testosterone. What's the solution? Not meditation apps you'll never use. I'm talking simple, practical stress reducers, evening walks, limiting screens before bed, proper sleep routines, breathing exercises during the day, and cutting back on late-night snacking and alcohol. What most men think is optional is actually essential. Fifth, your circulation is slowing down, and you feel it where it matters most. This is the one nobody wants to talk about, but every guy cares about. Blood flow is everything when it comes to performance. Physical, sexual, mental. And after 40, the blood vessels stiffen slightly, inflammation increases, and nitric oxide production drops. Inside the body, that means blood doesn't travel as efficiently, especially to the smaller vessels, and the body needs healthy flow for energy, mood, heart health, and yes, firmness and responsiveness. Here's how it shows up. You get tired faster, workouts feel harder, your stamina changes. Things don't wake up as quickly as they used to. Morning performance becomes rare. Most men blame testosterone alone, but a huge part of performance is circulation, the plumbing. If blood flow isn't there, hormones can't do their job. What helps? Movement, hydration, strength training, nitric oxide supporting foods, managing blood sugar, and keeping blood pressure in check. It's not about chasing a pill, it's about rebuilding the system. What most men think is aging is actually poor circulation. What really works is supporting vascular health daily. Sixth, you're not sleeping nearly as well as you think. If adding a sixth section for fuller runtime. Sleep is the most underrated hormone booster on the planet. When you don't sleep deeply or long enough, testosterone doesn't replenish. Cortisol rises, insulin becomes unstable, and your whole system feels off. Inside the body, poor sleep means reduced testosterone production, higher inflammation, increased cravings, lower energy, worse mood and performance. Most men say, "I sleep fine," but if you're waking up tired, stiff, or groggy, that is not fine. What helps? A solid bedtime routine, reducing screens late at night, cooling the room, cutting alcohol before bed, having consistent sleep-wake times. What most men think is optional is actually the foundation of every hormone they care about. Let me tell you about a patient of mine. We'll call him Mark. He's 52, married, 2 kids, full-time job in IT. Pretty normal guy, nothing extreme. When he first came to see me, he sat down, looked exhausted, and said, "Doc, I just don't feel like me anymore." And honestly, that's one of the most common sentences I hear from men in their 40s and 50s. Mark wasn't out of shape. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't ignoring his health. He was doing what most men do, pushing through. He told me he'd been feeling tired for almost a year, but instead of taking it seriously, he blamed work. Then his clothes started fitting differently. He gained about 12 pounds, mostly around the belly. His workouts weren't giving him the same results. And the part he really struggled to admit? His performance wasn't consistent, not gone, just unreliable. He said, "It's like my body hesitates." What he didn't realize was that these were all connected. So here's what we found. His testosterone wasn't dangerously low, but it was definitely lower than it should have been for a man his age. His cortisol, the stress hormone, was high morning, noon, and night. His insulin levels were creeping up even though he wasn't diabetic. And his sleep? He swore he was sleeping pretty well, but when we dug deeper, he was waking up 3 or 4 times a night without even noticing. Basically, his body was in a slow-burning stress state. Not enough to knock him down, but enough to drain him every single day. I told him something I want you to hear. You're not broken. You're not failing. Your body is waving a flag, and you've been too busy to see it. So we made a few simple changes. He started strength training twice a week. Nothing crazy, just consistent. He improved his evening routine so he could actually sleep deeply. We cleaned up his meals, added more protein, balanced his carbs, and got him walking 10 minutes after dinner. He cut back on late-night snacks and screens, and we supported his hormones naturally with lifestyle changes that fit his life, not some unrealistic program. Here's what happened over the next 3 months. His energy came back first. Then his belly started going down, slowly but steadily. His confidence returned. His performance improved, not because of a pill, but because his circulation and hormones were finally working together again. His wife even emailed me separately saying, "Thank you for giving me my husband back." And the lesson here is simple. Mark didn't need to overhaul his whole life. He just needed to understand what was happening inside his body and take small, consistent steps to fix it. A guy like Mark is not rare. He is everywhere. He's the man who thinks he's doing fine while his body is quietly struggling. If you see yourself in his story, don't ignore it. These issues don't mean you're old. They mean you need a tune-up. And once you give your body what it's been asking for, the turnaround can be dramatic. All right, let's clear up some of the biggest myths men over 40 believe, the stuff that keeps you stuck, frustrated, and spinning your wheels. These are the misconceptions nobody tells you about. Myth number 1. Low testosterone is the only thing that matters. Guys, this one is everywhere. You hear, "Get a testosterone shot and you're good." But here's the truth. Testosterone is important, sure, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. Circulation, insulin, sleep, stress, and even muscle mass all work together. Focusing only on T without addressing these other factors is like trying to power your car with a single battery cell. It won't get you far. The reality? Supporting lifestyle, sleep, and circulation is often more impactful than a quick hormone fix. Myth number 2. If I work out, I'll naturally fix everything. Exercise is critical, no doubt, but most men over 40 think just hitting the gym or doing cardio fixes their energy and performance problems. Here's what actually happens. If your workouts aren't targeted and your nutrition, sleep, and stress aren't in check, you may burn out more than you build up. The secret? Combine strength training, proper nutrition, and recovery, and watch your energy, hormones, and drive improve together. Myth number 3. I'm just too old. I can't improve. This is the one that kills progress the fastest. Aging doesn't mean automatic decline. Your body is adaptable at any age. Sure, metabolism slows, hormones shift, and recovery takes longer. But with the right approach, men in their 40s, 50s, and even 60s are seeing stronger muscles, more energy, better circulation, and yes, improved performance. The problem isn't your age, it's ignoring the warning signs your body has been giving you for years. Here's the deal. Believing these myths keeps men frustrated and defeated. Understanding the truth that hormones, circulation, sleep, stress, and muscle all work together gives you real power. Once you stop buying into the hype, you can start taking smart steps that actually work. Next, I'm going to give you a simple recap of all the points we covered so it sticks and you can start applying them today. All right, let's quickly recap everything we've covered so it's crystal clear. Hormones matter early. Testosterone decline starts slowly, and imbalance, not just low T, drives fatigue, mood changes, and performance issues. Muscle loss steals your metabolism. Strength training isn't optional after 40. It protects hormones, burns fat, and keeps you strong. Insulin resistance kills energy. Sugar and processed carbs make your body store fat, spike cravings, and tank your energy. Chronic stress wrecks your system. High cortisol lowers testosterone, inflames your body, and sabotages sleep. Circulation is key. Blood flow affects energy, recovery, and performance. Don't ignore vascular health. Sleep fuels everything. Without deep restorative sleep, your hormones, energy, and focus all suffer. Remember, these aren't separate problems. They're connected. Fixing one without the others is like patching one hole in a sinking ship. Address them together, and your body starts working for you again, not against you. If you're a guy over 40 and you want to take control of your energy, hormones, and performance, don't wait another day. Hit that like button if this video opened your eyes, and subscribe so you never miss real, practical advice for men like you. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me what's been your biggest struggle. Energy, strength, or performance? I read every single comment and I respond. And if you want my free guide that breaks down step by step exactly how to restore your drive, energy, and vitality after 40, the link's right in the description. Grab it and start today. This isn't hype. It's the same advice I give my patients that actually works. Don't let another day go by feeling less than your best. Your body can turn around faster than you think, and I'm here to show you how. You're not alone in this, and you're definitely not broken. Every man hits these challenges, but the difference is understanding what's happening and taking action. I'm Dr. Camilla Hayes. Stay strong, take care of yourself, and keep moving forward. I'll see you in the next video.